All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Warakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons, and daughters as well. The water, which means thank you to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. So I'm going to go on ahead and start this lesson in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 1. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. So a lot of our people are hardening their necks towards this ministry. They're not concerned with it. They love being oppressed. They're not thinking about how evil, how ruthless, how detrimental this society is to us as a people. They're more concerned about their own bag, their own health. They don't care about their brother or their sister next to them. That's how a lot of people move today. People have become lovers of themselves. So when you hear about our people going into slavery and, all the unjust things that have happened to us, some of our people have that mentality of, that's back then. We got to get over that. We got to leave that behind us and move forward. Israelites like that they're not trying to hear this word, man. When the Lord starts to judge people, it's going to come suddenly. It's going to come when people least expect it. And when the Lord comes after somebody, there's not going to be any cure. There's no way out. Okay, the way out is repenting and getting your act together as an Israelite. So verse 2 reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So here it is, the wicked are in rule right now. That's why you can see videos of Edomites complaining about being behind on their bills, how their credit score has dropped because they're not able to keep up with their payments. You have Edomites complaining about spending all this time in college just to get all this collection of student debt. And then on top of that, not having a job that has anything to do with why they went to college in the first place, for whatever degree that they received. A lot of people are complaining about not making enough money at their jobs. Not just our people, not just Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. People in general. But it's funny though, with a lot of these videos that I've been seeing of people complaining, for the most part, they've been Edomites. Because our people have been struggling, so it's not really anything new to speak on. We've been through it and we still go through it. But the Lord is showing through prophecy, through signs, who are the righteous and who are the wicked. The righteous can't be in authority because people aren't rejoicing right now. There's a whole lot of oppression going on here on this earth. People are complaining. People aren't receiving any empathy. People feel alone. People are going through suicidal thoughts, strung out on different drugs and medications. Okay? Because the wicked are in power right now. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And it's the wicked, being Esau, Edom, what you will call the so-called white man, aka the so-called Caucasian man. They're the ones oppressing the people. They're the ones making it hard for everybody, including their own people. They're the reason why you gotta, hit snooze on your alarm clock when it goes off to go into your job that you more than likely hate. But you also have people who so-called love their job. Those are usually the same people that harden their neck to this ministry because they're not looking at the oppression. They're not looking at taxes being taken out. They don't give a damn. Their mind is not on righteousness. But for those who have some sense, they'll be in the spirit of complaining because the wicked are ruling right now. And seeing that the wicked are ruling, as much as we go through as Israelites, their own people are being affected as well. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 14. For out of prison he cometh to reign. So there was a time where these devils were imprisoned under the Israelites. You go back to the Dark Ages, okay? Going back to the days where we were actually ruling in Europe, we actually had Edomites under us. They were imprisoned. The dragon had chains around them for a set time, but then the dragon was let loose, being Esau Edom. For out of prison, being their slavery, he cometh to reign. And here they are reigning. We're in Esau's kingdom right now. They're the wicked. And because of them reigning, people are mourning. Whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor. So when the wicked beareth rule, people mourn. Esau is poor in their own kingdom because they're being afflicted. They're being oppressed by their own people. Okay? But even though they're being afflicted, they're being oppressed by their own people, no one on earth has gone through what the Israelites have gone through. Okay? This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, and verse 1. Therefore the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. So everyone is complaining, everyone is mourning right now. You can see mourning from all nations because of how society is being ran. But no one has gone through what the Israelites have gone through, though. No one has suffered like Israel. Although the heathen, speaking of Esau, Edom in particular, a lot of them are being oppressed. A lot of them are poor in their own kingdom. But nevertheless, they're not going through some of the same things that a poor Israelite will go through. There may be, man, my voice is dry, man. There may be similarities, but the Israelite is still going to suffer through more just because he's an Israelite. You'll hear people say things, oh, it's because you're melanated. No, it's not because you're melanated. Oh, it's because you're black. No, it's not because you're so-called black. It's because you're an Israelite. Because guess what? Everybody on earth, except for Esau, technically is brown, although you have brown Edomites. But what I'm saying is, when you go off the primary identity of people, when you think of a so-called Arab, when you think of a so-called East Indian, when you think of a so-called African, you think of people who have melanin, who have a dark brown to a light brown hue. And because of the mixing, you'll see certain of them look like they're so-called white people based off their complexion. Okay? But everybody on earth technically would look like brown people. It's Esau Edom who lacks that brown hue. Okay? It's actually Esau who would be the one that's really not human to some degree, if you want to look at it like that, because at one time they were looking at us as less than human. Less than 3/5 of a man, which they still do. That's why they want you to be locked in prison. That way they can reenact that feeling on you. Okay? But to be a human, you would have to be a colored man. The word hue is color. Man being hue man, colored man. Well, the Israelites are colored men. All right? All nations under the sun technically are colored men, but Esau, he's a colorless man. But you have Israelites among Esau that look like so-called white people. Okay, so this isn't a so-called black or white thing. I'm just trying to make a point here. We all suffer, but the Israelites have a different form of suffering. Our suffering goes further than the sufferings of other nations, especially as a whole, when you look at us. Okay? We have to jump through more loops. More loopholes have to be made to try to, keep us out. More rings of fire have to be jumped through for us to, be a part of something. To bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. So yes, we all go through things. We all are suffering under the so-called white man, even the so-called white man. But no one has suffered like the nation of Israel. No one has gone through what we've gone through. Okay? Our people love to bring these other nations in our conversation when we talk about what we go through. Well, white people got to pay bills too. Listen here, idiot. It's their own people making them pay bills, man. It's their own people. If they were juiced in, they'd be oppressing you also. Okay? They were left out. And because they were left out, you think they don't hate you? They still hate you. Just because they still have to go to work like you, pay bills just like you, complain about being behind on bills just like certain Israelites, does not mean they don't hate you. They still hate you. But yes, everybody's mourning under these devils. And that's how you know they're in power, because the world has been given to these devils. And they don't rule uprightly. They don't rule in righteousness. And our people don't care, primarily. Only a sect of our people are going to be in the right spirit. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So our people love to put faith in this society. They put faith in Esau Edom. They put faith in Babylon the Great, aka America. They put faith in the bag, aka their money. They put faith they put faith in their clout, aka their fame, trying to have their name be deemed as important. But the things that they're putting faith in is pulling them, closer to destruction and further away from the Heavenly Father. So when destruction does fall upon them, it's going to happen suddenly. It's going to happen as if there was no warning, but the warning is going out right now. Videos like this, these lessons, are all forms of warning, one way or another, because we're going to be saved by receiving this truth. All right? So understand, yes, we all go through oppression on this earth, but no one has suffered like Israel. Neither does the Lord love any nation but the nation of Israel. Okay? Verse 14. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel, that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sure to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. So the point being, though, our people love oppression. They've always loved oppression. And they're going to keep trusting in it until the day comes that the same thing they trust in is going to be the same thing that fails them. Trying to bring everybody else into your struggle. Oh, the white man's struggling too. Just because a lot of them are, living paycheck to paycheck or going through certain things, just like our people, they're still being afflicted by their own. Okay? That is a domestic problem. All right? The Lord is concerned about you Israelites. We should want to be free. We should want to see better than this current situation that we're in. Even if you live in a fairly decent house or a decent apartment, whatever, you should still be focused on the kingdom of heaven. Okay? You should still be focused on far greater things, because this society, it's here today, gone tomorrow. You can have something today, and then tomorrow is giving you problems, or tomorrow you don't got it. All right? Let's go to the book of Job. Job chapter 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So people are mourning here on earth because the earth has been given into their hands. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the Israelites are the judges. And Esau has done a good job covering up the faces of the Israelites, telling you that, all the prophets, all the evangelists, all the men you read about in the Bible, they were all so-called white men because they covered the faces of the judges. But that's what they do. They lie, they oppress, they murder, they cheat, they increase off of our back. They oppress us when we work at their jobs. And the scriptures literally tell you in the law, in Deuteronomy 24, let's just get it. Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy. And we are those hired servants that are poor and needy, the Israelites. We are the ones who were stripped from our identity. We were the ones brought over here by force. Yeah, you have certain Israelites that are doing better than certain Edomites. In a lot of cases, you can find Israelites doing better than Edomites. In fact, when you look up statistically wise, out of all races of people, what race is more and what race is using Section 8 food stamps and different things like that the most? And you'll find out it's actually among Edomites, but they'll keep placing the blame on you Israelites. Okay, but anyway, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. And the strangers here is speaking of Israelites. That stranger is representing somebody who may not be from the land of Israel. Or if you're visiting somebody, let's say you're visiting an Israelite. You're from Chicago, you're going to visit an Israelite from California. If you're going to visit the Israelite, you'd be considered the stranger because you're not natively born where that Israelite is. We are all considered like strangers because we weren't natively born in our homeland. But we're still brethren. We're still the same people. This isn't speaking of stranger as in some heathen who's not of the nation of Israel. Okay? At his day, thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it. For he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sent unto thee. So you're supposed to pay a man the same day. But Esau, he'll make you wait for your money. He'll make you wait a week, 2 weeks. And then when he finally gives it to you, he already took money out of your paycheck. Okay? Why? Because you're being oppressed. But we're supposed to be paid the very same day. But seeing how things aren't fair, things aren't righteous, you'd be a wise man to be mad, because you have a lot of Israelites. Oh, I ain't even mad. I understand because it's in the scriptures. Well, you're not in the right goddamn spirit, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So oppression should piss you off, man. But Esau's always trying to buy our people off. Always trying to bribe our people. Like they did with that nigga Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Very talented Israelite, but you can clearly tell that the elites have they tentacles in that man's mind. But we should be angry at the oppression. And everybody's being oppressed, not just Israelites, but no one is suffering like us, okay? And the Lord is only concerned about us anyway. Verse 9, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. So we shouldn't take matter into our own hands. Now we're picking up arms. Now we're trying to bring down the government. Now we're trying to, be carnal, and all that stuff. We can't be like that. We have to remain patient. There's nothing wrong with being mad, but we also have to have a sense of control with our anger. But anyways, I pray this lesson was simple and edifying. I didn't really know where I was going with it, but I had to feed you with something. So with that, Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Shalom.